In the world of bonsai, a tree can live hundreds of years in a container. In my backyard, I'm just trying to get past 3. When we grow fruit trees in pots, one of the same concepts applies to both of these methodologies, and that is, you must prune your roots for long-term success. 3 years ago, I bought this tiger panache fig, and I put it in a 15-gallon container. It's giving me a lot of fruit. Now it's overgrown state, and it's time to give the roots a little prune. So although I do love the structure of this tree, it's staying in a pot. So this is all wasted space right here that could be producing fruit. So what I'm gonna do is just chop them right down here, and then I'm gonna chop down a bunch of roots too inside. Here's my tools of choice, the rubber mallet to knock the tree outside of the pot, because sometimes the roots get tight. Gloves to protect my hands, saw to saw the trunk, shovel to maybe smack the roots around, and then a cheap pair of pruners to prune the roots, because I use pumice and sand in my soil and that could damage your good stuff. So use ones that you don't mind damaging. I do try not to waste around here, so after I chop this down, I will propagate the rest of the stems that are left here. Some were cut off for the CRFG sign exchange, the good ones or the easier ones, and then these ones will be left over to try to make new trees. All right, so let's get started. So we're about maybe like 1.5 feet from the bottom of the pot right here. And I have a node here, and I have a node here, and I have one here. So I'm hoping that those 3 will push out. Maybe I'll do it here, but somewhere around there. So I'm hoping to have at least 3 nodes like that will branch out, so I get some more structure. But 2 would be fine. I'd be okay with 2, and then we just cut them back every year. You want to cut at an angle so the water will slope downwards. Put down a tarp to make things cleaner. So these roots can grow into the sides here and then get stuck. So I use a mallet to kind of encourage them to come out a little easier. Basically just to loosen it up. You can see how crazy the roots have grown around and circled in here, but what you can't see is the smell. This kind of smells a little bit anaerobic because pots do create a perched water table. They'll hold a little bit more water down here. That's also a good reason why you should check your roots every couple years and to give it a prune, because it might be kind of gross down here. I've had mulberries that were just kind of like mush at the bottom, but this one is doing okay. So we'll start cutting. So my plan is to take about half of this whole structure off. So what I'm going to do is take 1/3 from the bottom, so around right here, and just chop right off. And then I'm going to take about 1/3 from the sides, all the way around. I'm just going to come at it this way, like up here, and cut it all back, and then just put in some new potting soil. Hopefully that'll do it for another couple years. All right, so that's about done. You know, towards the end, I started to just pound the sides to loosen it up. And that went better than just sawing because the saw does get dull. So you definitely don't want to use something nice or something that you want to keep sharp, especially if you have pumice, because pumice is very hard on blades. So it just worked out easier just to smack it, loosen up the soil all around, and then just trim off the roots after that. Just to give you an idea of what's been cut off. These are more of the roots that were on the sides and that were circling around. So we'll get this back in the pot. It should be good when springtime comes around and it breaks dormancy. We'll see if everything went according to our plan and we get some branching this way and this way. But it should be fine. It's still dormant. The soil mix is my own version of top pot, which is, if you want to make your own, just do a third pumice, a third peat moss, and then you can do perlite and sand and charcoal to whatever you like. The rest doesn't matter too much. If you want it lighter, more perlite. If you want it heavier, more sand. And that's pretty much it. I'm actually reusing soil on this one, so I don't waste all the older stuff. And it's a lighter mix with more perlite. When you're reusing soil, you want to make sure you don't reuse the ones from the same family. So in this case, it's the Morrissey. You don't want to put any mulberry or jackfruit, because the same diseases that were in that soil are going to affect this tree too, because they're in the same family. Used to be much more particular about how these things fit, but these days I just want to get in there and get it done. Just put some Osmo Cocoa Plus, put some organics. That's gonna be it. We'll wait and see how this does. I'm gonna beat the roots out of this old soil and put it in a bag, and then reuse it for later. Okay, it's been a few months since root pruning, and now basically it's bounced back, and we do have the scaffolding. I am very happy with the results. So we did gain this much space for our trees, and I'm like 6'5", so that's a lot of space. Nobody believes that. It's very much rooted in now too, so I know it's not just like some random dead spurt of vegetative growth. If you look closer up, there are some spots that I'm going to remove. If I net it all the way down here, I might not be able to water as well. I'll bring you in closer to take a look. This little piece here, we don't need that. Right, this is going to grow out, and it's just too close to the soil line, so we'll rub that out. And up here we have this branch, which kind of coincides with this branch. I would like to have 4 growing each direction, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's pretty close to covering each direction. So I'm just going to rub this one out. It'll make bagging the whole tree easier. So I have clearance from here to water around. So we'll just get rid of that. And that's it. So I call it a success at this point. I'm gonna leave it in the pot for 2 years and then see what happens, or at least see what happens this year. I know I'll be fine with that. But I think we'll have enough space in the root for the roots to grow up for 2 years. The one thing I would have done differently, I should have thought that I have pumice in here, which is basically rocks, and that pretty much ruined my saw blades. Because the rocks are too hard for the teeth to cut through. But beating it off was pretty easy, and that applies to many things in life. Anyway, I hope this helped you out. If you want to learn about avocados, you can check out this video here.